Hey guys, this is George from Broken MTG, and today I will bring you a budget modern deck. This deck is called Blue White Answers. Currently I'm on version 6.2. I've been testing this deck for quite a while. Really, it's only been about 2 weeks. It's rather budget. I've got the main board going for just under $78. Sideboard isn't too expensive either, under 40. Uh, really cheap for modern. Some of the decks you'll see that top 8 are over $1,000. Definitely, there are lots of decks over 300, and I just wanted to make this nice little budget deck for you guys. We're going to start with the lands on 24, 9 plains, 9 islands, 4 glacial fortress, and 2 house fortress. Now, you probably won't ever see house fortress played. It's a storage land. They aren't very popular, especially in modern, which is such a fast format. Essentially, you have to pay a lot of mana to get them up, but in this deck, at least, I feel that it's worth it. It's an extra high land that still can produce mana if we needed to. Uh, like, if we really have to color shift, if we're that, like, if we need a blue that bad, we could use it for that. It would cost 3 mana instead of 1, but we really could. You could just keep putting storage counters on it, which helps us do lots of things later on. So the deck is a lot like Turbo Fog. There we go. Okay. The deck is a lot like Turbo Fog. We run 18 different fog effects. Holy Day is the worst, but like 2 of. 3-0 hit prevents all damage that would be dealt by creatures, which is actually extremely important. All the fogs in here. And of course, the 3 mana fog to our right control and safe passage prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. And Dawn Charm can act as a counterspell. Just the reason it's in here as a 4-of rather than Holy Day being a 4-of. We run 4 Quicken. It's actually a really good card. Probably slightly underrated. You can quicken into a Day of Judgment. You can quicken into a Supreme Verdict. Those are both pretty good. You can, of course, quicken into a Terminus on your opponent's turn. It's really fun. Put all creatures on bottom third in the library for blue and a white at instant speed. It's really good. But, you know, it probably won't ever happen. I haven't gotten that. I actually haven't played a version with Terminus yet. That is a recent addition. Uh, as I said, I've kind of already shown you the board wipes. We've got 2 Day of Judgment, 4 Supreme Verdict, and 2 Terminus. Supreme Verdict are really only here because they can't be countered, and against some decks, it's very important. Terminus, of course, is here because while I was testing, I was having a lot of trouble against Fog because their creatures are so resilient, and then they can put one on counters on it with their land, which I don't have an answer to. I can't bounce lands. I can't destroy lands unless they become creatures. So, yeah, that's something in there. And then we run 2 Elixir of Immortality. The life gain is nice. Really, we just want to put cards back in our deck so you can have even more answers. More answers are great. Of course, we run 4 Sphinx's Rev. The card draw is the important part. The life gain's okay. Now, you may see the most expensive cards in this deck are Sphinx's Rev and Supreme Verdict. I wrote up here. If you want to make it under 50, you can put in Blue Sun Zenith. You can put in 2 more Day of Judgment, and really any board wipe. There are much cheaper board wipes than Supreme Verdict, for white at least. They may not be as good, but you can find them. Anyway, the difference with Blue Sun Zenith is that, aside from the price, it's about 50 cents each. Last time I checked these, so blame me for being wrong there. It's a triple blue and X, and it's target players. You could actually run it as a really okay win con. I doubt you'll ever get up that much mana, but late in the game, you can do some Zenith to your opponent for 10, and they just throw out the rest of the deck. That's the little thought I had, and it doesn't gain you the life. That's the real difference between Revelation and Death. It's, I don't know. You could run Zenith instead of Revelation. I'm just running Revelation because this is a proxy deck, and I can afford that in a proxy deck. Uh, anyway, it's extremely budget. Let's go over to the sideboard. We've got two Condescends against really anything with something that we can't answer. We don't want other control decks landing in Aether Lane. We don't want them. Honestly, Aether Lane isn't that bad, but if we mess up with the fog, we might be taking 7 or 8. So we don't want them to generally land in Aether Lane. We don't want spells like Shape Shift to resolve. I mean, unless we have a safe passage or something in our hand, but there are certain spells that you just don't want to resolve because it really hurts. And Condescend is in there just in case. It also sets up your draws. It's try 2. Pretty good card. We've got Damping Matrix. This is mostly in for Pod, partially for Affinity. We weren't having much trouble against Affinity, but it's always better. There might be some crazy build out there that I don't know of that just kills me. So I'd rather be ready for that. We've got 3 Rest in Peace. Yeah, it's a good card. It's here for, again, Pod. You need to exile the graveyard. It's also extremely good against Living End and Storm, which Pod is the only one with an answer to it. They'll kill your Rest in Peace with the Black Moon card, a Broken Data, that will destroy any non-land permanent with CMC 3 or less, which Rest in Peace is, so they'll destroy that. It's okay. We run it 3 of. It's one of our answers to Pod because they have that instant combo and they're just so strongly aggro. They have a lot of the creatures have to persist, so they come back after a board wipe, and we just can't always deal with that. I actually expected to have more trouble with RDW than I do with Pod, but because of the search, it's really much more a problem. We've got 4 Nevermore against combo Pod. Again, it's like another Condescend, except this time 3 mana, it's an enchantment. It's a just in case card. I guess I might name Aetherling just to keep that in their hand. I don't mind to deal with it. There's Scape Shift, there's Splinter Twin. Just a lot of things I don't want to deal with. Tarmogoyf, normally, you don't want to deal with a Tarmogoyf in this deck. You can, of course, we do run 80 Thought Effect, which is really good. You have a 93% chance of getting a Thought Effect in your opening hand. So, it's probably set for a while there, along with the Sphinx's Routes. You'll probably be fine in this deck against almost any aggro deck. Like I said, RDW actually got a pretty good matchup against RDW. And then the final card in here is Mindbreak Trap. It's an anti-stone card. I think that's what it's known for in Modern. But it's also a 4-mana counter spell for this deck. Most decks would run a Dissipate instead. It does essentially the same thing. For one spell, it's a counter target, exile target spell. Rather, counter target spell if it's countered that way, exile it. Mindbreak Trap is just a really good thing for us. It's great against Storm. 4 mana isn't that bad for us, especially with the House Form tools in there. We can just fog and then counter the House Form tools, so even if we're stuck at 3 mana, we'll have 4 mana. No, I'm sorry, even if we're stuck at 3 lands after 2 turns, we can get 4 mana. But it's not that, it's a great card for this deck. I just have to point out again, Quicken is probably my favorite card. It's a 1 mana draw card if you have to, and then it'll get you that Supreme Bird that turn. Sometimes. But it's a really good card in my opinion. It's one of my favorite blue spells. Just had to say about it. Give a little shout out to Quicken there because it's such a great card. Anyway, the deck is rather cheap. I hope you guys like it. This is my current favorite deck. Thank you for watching. This has been Broken Pieces.